Hey, welcome to Genre Exposure, a film podcast. Join us as we explore the wide world of cinema, broaden our horizons one movie at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Dustin, and as usual, I'm here with Michael.
Hey, everybody.
And Jason.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, guys? We're a little goofy today.
We're a little goofy.
It's the only way to be after this pile of shit.
Whoa! Spoilers, dude.
Yeah, don't worry. Spoiler alert,
Okay,
it
okay.
sucks.
Okay, that's a little harsh. I don't think it's a pile of shit, but we'll get into that.
We are
jumping ahead of ourselves.
attempting to continue our series on Indian cinema with Jason's pick, 13B.
Jason's blind pick, I much emphasize. I had not seen this movie beforehand.
You're just like that dude in the movie, the blind guy with the dog.
I'm just like him.
But he could smell, so you couldn't smell this pile of shit. He could have.
Sometimes you don't smell it until you step in it.
So, we're going to get into all of that very soon. But first, we're going to talk about what we've been watching. Hopefully some other films that are maybe a little more engaging.
Yeah, I asked Dustin's opinion on what I should talk about. Something recent and shitty, or something older and great. He said, maybe you should be positive.
Mine's positive, so
Okay.
it's okay.
Awesome.
Just a little bit, to counterbalance.
Yeah.
But I've got a shout out too. I'm going to do something a little different today. I don't have a podcast shout out.
I
I
don't like
have a releasing label shout out. Because I discovered a film label that I didn't know existed, and they had some films I really wanted, and I ordered from them, and I was really happy with them. And I just want to put them out there more into the aether of people. If you like movie collecting like me, I want you to know about them.
And what porno boutique is this?
It is actually not. Well, I guess you could argue it. This gets back into the whole Pinku debate. So,
Yeah.
so they're called Dark Side Releasing. They're based in Canada. And they've got a wide range of stuff, including like general horror type things. But they've got this whole little sub-label where they've been doing a lot of Japanese stuff. So they put out Asura Girl, which was like a live-action spin-off of one of the Blood Last Vampire animes.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And then they have a lot of weird like Japanese erotica stuff. They have 3 separate pink film collections. It's just like several movies on one disc. Mm-hmm. They released the like more recent Kekko Kamen film, which is based on a classic manga about a superhero that's basically a naked lady in a mask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've probably seen that somewhere before,
I have.
Jason. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I'm familiar.
I'm familiar with that.
They have a double feature of some weird, like, the whole, like, rope bondage horror film kind of things. Those are, like, Shogun's Torture of Joy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess 2 of the lesser-known titles, they have a double feature of that. I didn't know any of these had Blu-ray releases that you could actually get with subtitles and stuff, and I thought that was so cool and so awesome. So I just wanted to shout them out, share the link in our show notes, and send people that way and check out what they've got.
Nice.
Am I the only one of us that's not like an outright open perv?
Well, first of all, I take offense to the word perv. I mean, it's true, but I take offense to it all the same. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just a closeted perv.
Yeah. I mean, we're out and proud. It's okay.
I mean, I think I said it on the Pink episode. I tried to hold back for years. I was like, I'm not going to collect Pink films. That'll be weird. And then we started this podcast, and the floodgate just opened.
You know what?
I will argue that a lot of pornography is art.
That's fair.
It's not exclusively trash.
This isn't the direction I thought this episode was going to go. We'll replace this with a Hollywood number.
But wait till we get to that block,
We'll cut to a music video right now.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, Dark Side Releasing. Go check them out if you're a film collector. They got some neat stuff on there.
Sweet.
What have you guys been watching?
You go first. Michael.
So I kind of binged a whole bunch of TV. So
is it TV again?
Well, I finally broke down and paid for a month of Paramount Plus so that I could watch like all of the new Star Trek Strange New, because Jason hyped it, and it turned out it was really good.
So I got backup.
And then I was watching Lower Decks, which is also hilarious.
How far did you get in that?
I'm like 5 or 6 episodes.
Okay.
in or
Yeah,
something
isn't it
like
funny?
that.
I think it's really funny.
I caught up and watched Jackass the movie, which Jason had covered. It was great. But something I did watch that was not on that that I made time for was a docuseries that's on Disney Plus. Hopefully you're not doing it. But Light and Magic.
Oh, yeah, you were telling us about this the other day.
And it is a, like 7 or 8 part docuseries.
Yeah, it's 6 or something like that.
About the creation of ILM, Industrial Light and Magic.
It's fantastic.
I'm sure that's super fascinating.
Oh my God. Like Jason
it's
I were
geeky too. I mean, it gets really geeky.
It really is. Jason and I were like chatting back and forth about it while I was watching it. And honestly, I feel like our listeners this is like crack cocaine because it's so like you don't have to be a Star Wars fan. It helps because
if you're a fantasy science fiction fan, that's all you need to be, especially if you're into like models and stuff like
just
that.
watching these guys, like the ingenuity of these people, that like what we watch now is because of them. Everything that we see now is, I mean, you could argue it's Harryhausen too, but like these guys were the next step.
Right.
And they just kept innovating. And like, you know, when you find out, if you're a huge Star Wars nerd, you already knew a lot of the stuff from the first couple episodes, but like the fact that the technology didn't even exist.
Mm-hmm. They just had to make it from scratch.
Yeah, Lucas shows up. He's like, I want to shoot this, and he's like, can you do it? And they're like, we got to build it.
They're like, I don't think so. No, he says, just think about it.
Just think about it. Yeah,
think about it.
But then as the series, it starts off really focused heavily on Star Wars and the creation of, because that's where it all started,
right?
And then kind of delves into where ILM ends up going, you know, into like computer animation, CG, and just basically how they created this monster of special effects that is emulated by everyone. Like if you got a job at ILM, you hit it gold.
I sent Michael a text after the first couple of episodes saying something about how I'd never felt so untalented.
Because you watch these guys just create, and it's just you're looking at people who are on a whole another level of creativity.
I don't know how their mind works.
We've got some Phil Tippett action in there, right?
Oh yeah,
Tippett is in there, yeah. But
doing what he needs to do, not making films.
that film was therapy, and he's not shy about talking about stuff like that.
He really does kind of. I actually saw Mad God in a different light after watching some of this, because you really see he's a very tortured soul. Like he's got a lot of mental and emotional issues, and I think Mad God was never intended to be like this big cinematic project. It was more just like, I need to create, I need to make something, and I think other people around him kind of pushed him into making it into.
I mean, does that make it a good movie? No, but
it changes how I viewed it. Sure. That I'm not sure that was his intention, to really make this sprawling, epic, quote unquote masterpiece that everyone wants to call it.
It's no amusement park, that's for sure.
But this also does have it. The reason I wanted to talk about it too is it does have another connection to the podcast. It's actually directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who did Silverado.
Nice.
So it's kind of a nice little tie in there for everything. But it's on Disney Plus. It's dense, but I think that you'd really enjoy it, especially if you like cinema at all. It's just. It covers so many of the
classics.
You
lost Dustin at Disney Plus.
I know.
I mean, throw it on a Blu-ray, maybe we'll talk.
I wish they would. I'm starting to side with you on that I wish that they would release some of this stuff on
I agree. Everything should be physical media as well.
You should have the option if you want it. But yeah, Light and Magic, Disney Plus, Lawrence Kasdan. It's cool.
Well, speaking of stuff we love, I've been going through some new generation full moon films.
Uh-oh.
So I've been ignoring those for a while.
Do we love new generation full moon films?
Well, I love the one I watched. So I checked out the current spin-off of the Demonic Toys franchise, Baby Oopsie, which is all about the titular Baby Oopsie.
Oh, so it wasn't one of the Evil Bong films?
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was directed by William Butler, who's like a full moon veteran at this point. He's done a bunch of the Ginger Dead Man films. He's done some of the newer stuff. And this is one of the ones where I think they bought like a house in Ohio somewhere just to use as like a place to shoot films. And this was like one of the first movies they made there.
So every film's going to be shot in his house.
I guess, apparently, yeah.
Why not?
It's
slightly redressed.
And it's great because it's just a random like suburban house.
Nice.
So you know the people that actually live there are probably just like, who the fuck are they?
They show up with the crew. Oh no.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but the film focuses on Sybil, who's kind of this, like, she's very, like, down in her life. She's picked on by everyone. She's bullied by everyone.
She a child?
No. She's a grown woman.
Okay.
And her thing is that she likes to collect dolls and, like, restore them.
Well, no wonder she gets bullied.
Back
That's her own fucking fault.
Man, Jason, go fuck yourself. How about that?
I'm joking, of course. I think that is a worthwhile endeavor.
And so she has, like, a vlog, like a YouTube show where she, like, goes through the restorations and shows them off, and that's like her whole shtick. And one day, one of these demonic toys from the original film, Baby Oopsie, shows up, all damaged and destroyed.
Also, she was in the original movie.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She just
Shut the fuck up, Jason. Let the man finish.
holy shit. And so she receives the doll and she's trying to restore it, and the final piece kind of mysteriously turns up, and it's this like satanic pendant looking gear. And she revives the killer doll. All kinds of fun hijinks and antics ensue. And I actually quite liked it, because usually the demonic toy films are just like completely bombastic and outrageous. And this one does go crazy, but they actually had like an interesting narrative arc with the lead where like there's some stuff about like she has like some mental stuff. She has these fantasies of like killing people because she's had so much pressure built up. And when the doll comes to life, it kind of tries to like enact those on her behalf
Okay.
to like make her life better. And it's the whole like that gets out of control, and she realizes like, no, that's not the way to be. I got to stop this doll now.
Nice.
Super fun, super cheesy, some great kills. It's getting a sequel apparently called Baby Oopsie Murder Dolls, dropping this year. Seems it might be a little spin-off franchise now.
Nice.
I mean, why not? If
It's
it made
not-
them a buck.
It's not as good as any of the old Full Moon stuff. It's very low budget, but I thought like all the actors in it were great. It was super fun. Just classic Full Moon puppet action.
Okay.
I still need to go back and watch those. The at least Puppet Master, the first one.
I don't share Dustin's love for the. I haven't seen the other ones. Maybe I should go back and watch the other ones.
And I thought I would tell you, Jason. They actually, in the new films they're doing, they have a whole series where it's spun off of From Beyond, and it's like a prequel about how the resonator gets made.
Okay.
I haven't watched them yet, but
All right. I'll look into that. Without Stuart Gordon though, and his whole crew.
I do think they dedicated the films to him, though,
That's cool.
so
Okay.
that's cool.
That's nice.
Little love there.
Okay.
All right, Jason, what do you got?
Okay. Well.
And I'm not going to hassle you about yours.
No, you should jump in every 5 seconds and try to complete his thought. Or just, say something completely asinine.
That's what I do. That's my thing.
It's not a personality trait.
I say asinine things. I watched a anime film from 2009 called Redline, which I absolutely loved.
It's quite good. I've seen it. Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, check it out. It is free. It is about it's a story about the most popular racing event in the galaxy called Redline.
It's like a Mos Eisley, right?
Sort of.
Like the pod racers.
Well,
Is this how you do it? Am I need to go more asinine?
no. That's asinine enough. But yeah, it is a race, much like pod racing.
Now that's pod racing.
But yeah, everyone's got these cool tricked out cars and shit, and the animation is gorgeous.
So it's like American Graffiti.
Yes, exactly like American
Yeah,
Graffiti,
yeah,
but
yeah.
animated.
Yeah.
It is a visual spectacle, though. Like, it has some of the best animation I think you'll see in, like, anything, almost.
And it's pretty kinetic, but not like Romare levels
not Trigger,
of
yeah.
kineticism. Yeah.
I don't think I can handle that.
I found myself wishing a few times it would slow down a little, just so I can get a better look at the vehicle designs and stuff, but that's a minor complaint.
But isn't that almost a metaphor for the premise of the film, in a way?
You're probably right, yeah.
Yeah.
The smugness on Dustin's face. God damn, it was so good. He's like, yeah.
Yeah. You can't see it because they're so fast. It's not going to slow down.
He's the fast.
But like it's streaming on Tubi for free.
Hey, nice.
Plex, so check it out. You have no excuse.
Tubi came in clutch for me today, too.
Yeah?
Because you know how I was bitching to you guys that nobody was streaming Lost Boys? Fucking
Fucker, I'm trying to watch Lost Boys.
Tubi is streaming Lost Boys.
There you go.
There you go.
Did you watch it?
No, I started it and then I had to make dinner.
Because you saw Sexy Sax Man.
I thought you were going
that's
to
all
say you just
needed.
fast forwarded to the sax
I
guy.
had to go take care of something. I can't go to any con that he's at because I'll just be like, uh-oh. I gotta go to the bathroom.
I'll be in my bunk.
All right, today we are continuing our series all about Indian cinema, and we're going with Jason's pick, which was 13B. And right off the top, we've got
Fear
several.
has a new address.
Yes, we've got a subtitle, and we have several alternate titles for this film.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize it was a blind pick.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Just accept what happened.
It happened. Yeah, this movie was there's basically 3 different versions of this movie. There's the one we watched.
Are any of the others better than the one we watched?
I don't know. I didn't watch them, and I'm not going to.
From my very cursory research, they're mostly the same, but they've swapped out actors for certain people.
And languages.
Yeah, and languages is the big thing.
Is Priya the same?
Yavarum Nalam. I don't think so, actually. Yavarum Nalam is the original title.
Which means all are fine.
Yes. And that was shot in
Tamil
language. And then they reshot some of it in Hindi as B13. Fear has a new address.
13B?
It doesn't matter, Jason. It's okay.
Or B13?
13B, Fear has a new address.
13B, yes. I'm dyslexic.
None of this matters.
You need to respect my disability.
But then after that,
You're not dyslexic.
they dubbed the film in Telugu as 13 Padamudu,
Right.
which is maybe my favorite title of the 3.
I think it's just a redub. I don't think they replaced any of the actors on this one.
Actually, that one did have a few scenes that they reshot with one actor.
Oh, okay. It would be interesting to compare them. I'm not going to, but it would be
That's
interesting.
if you cared to give this film a like deluxe from Arrow Blu-ray release kind of thing, it would be cool to have one with all 3 cuts.
I will say this movie, okay, we're going to rip into this movie a little bit, but it does have its following. There are people who genuinely love this movie. Because the way I found it was looking at lists of, good, great, Hindi horror films.
Oh, yeah, it was up there, and it was on, and I thought about choosing it, and I'm really fucking glad I didn't.
And the premise is great. We
I
still
didn't
had to watch it. So.
I didn't want to, but I didn't want to have egg on my face as being the one who chose it.
Dude, I'm used to it. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll be honest, Jason. I watched the trailer and my research for my pick, and then when I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm gonna pass on this one.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was just a bad trailer.
No.
Like the new Dungeons and Dragons movie trailer is terrible.
No,
it's not, dude. Oh my god.
You just are mad because they use Led Zeppelin.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense to use Whole Lotta Love. That's not the only reason, but it's probably the biggest reason. You're right, and I'm sure the filmmakers had nothing to do with that.
I don't actually mind when they use songs that don't belong because then I get to walk around like just.
You can do that anyway.
There's our copy strike.
Yeah, see, it's your fault.
The film is directed by Vikram Kumar.
I like how he said directed dismissively.
He's got a lot under him, and he's actually done some other horror films as well. Of which I did not look into after I watched 13B.
Yeah, he's done some other stuff. I don't really give a shit now.
Oh, man.
If this is the best you got, bro, I ain't in for it.
So, should I hit you guys maybe with the synopsis on this film
to
get us rolling?
Sure.
All right. Manohar, along with his family, move into a new apartment on the 13th floor. However, their peace is disturbed by a spirit that uses the television set as a medium to communicate with them. What could be a more classic and simple horror film premise?
It's a good premise.
It's not fucking that.
Right, and that's one of my problems. That's what we're going to.
Like that synopsis you read sounds like a great movie. The movie that I watched wasn't that synopsis.
Okay. We're going to skip a lot with this one because this movie's like 2.5 hours long and it has absolutely no reason to be. So we're going to hit the high points.
Right.
We're not going to go into every little plot detail because as one character actually says in this movie, this is getting confusing.
It's gone meta.
Yeah, it is, brother.
It's gone very meta.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. Manohar and his extended family, they move into this new, nice house. It's like a flat, like a condo type deal.
It is very nice looking.
It is nice. Okay, now something positive. I do like the family.
Yeah, they're cool.
They seem kind of realistic and kind of personable and nice.
All the actors in the film do an amazing job.
Yeah, they do a great job.
They are not the problem with this film.
No.
They are not, no. So
I actually loved his mom.
Mm-hmm.
His mom was cool.
She's great, and she's like honestly every Indian mom I've ever known.
Yeah.
I also couldn't imagine having to live with my entire extended family like that.
It's kind of neat, though, because, and I'm sure this is
A cultural thing.
thing. A lot of them do this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cool that they actually honor their elders and stuff like that, and they actually will live with extended family members. And
I couldn't do that, though. You know my parents.
I know, but that's American society, too.
I know your parents, too. I'd be like, I can't
live with
fucking
them
go
either,
there.
yeah.
I don't know Dustin's parents. Maybe they're cool.
I should say the lead too, Manohar. He's played by Madhavan. I really liked him as a character. He has this very like everyman quality to him.
Right.
He's like super likable just right out of the gate.
He's relatable, yeah. So it's Manohar and his wife Priya, who is smoking hot.
Played by Neetu Chandra.
And she's funny, too. I really liked her.
Jason might say she's foxy.
She's very foxy. But she had a real charisma to her.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I would watch another movie if she's in it, just to see her again in something. Not this one. I'm not going to watch this one again.
Don't like her enough for that.
I'm just waiting for the email we're banned from Ghana.
This has nothing against Indian culture or anything like that. It's one movie. So then it's Manohar's brother, his wife, and their 2 young children, and Manohar's college-age sister and their mother.
I quite liked the sister a lot too, because I don't know why everyone in the family kind of dogs on her.
Oh man, they were like, you can't pass a course. You never got. At one point, he says, "If you pass one paper, I'll buy you a car." So yeah, they're doing well. He's like a engineer. He works for this construction company and stuff.
Bit of gave me like a Poltergeist kind of vibe sort of deal.
Yeah. So they're doing well, but right off the bat, we see some strange things going on.
Yes,
like,
Jason, weird things are happening, and we know things are weird because
they
after
keep showing us that
after
it's
they
weird.
happen, there's a audio swell, and they shake the camera vigorously every time.
Yes.
In case you didn't realize that was somehow weird.
Or they'll keep cutting back to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like horribly ominous, cheesy music will pop up. This movie does not trust its audience.
I've never seen this might be a hot take statement, but I don't know if I've ever seen a film with a score this bad.
It's pretty bad.
Like, to the point where I would almost rather there not be a score, and I'm just watching like a musicless movie. Because the times that this movie's like just...
It's not subtle.
it whips its junk out and tries to hit you in the face with it, and you're like, okay... All right, you need to back off.
A bit at the start, I was kind of into it. It kind of almost had like a more modern horror film, like an Insidious vibe or something to it.
Yeah.
But then as it kicked in further, I was kind of like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what's going on now?
Yeah, so these strange occurrences...
the milk's curdling.
The milk curdles.
That's apparently a bad omen as well.
Sure.
I did look that up. That's a cultural...
And that's another thing. I think we probably are missing... I think that Indian cinema is so intrinsic with the culture, we're missing things. Like, even the style, like the melodramatic, just overdoing of everything that might be like part of their cinematic language. You know, it's just something that's kind of accepted.
Watching this film, I did think back to the last episode, and I read off that list of like the 6 major inspirations for Indian cinema. And some of them was like the melodramatic stuff that they pulled from plays. And then we'll get into it here in a bit, but the MTV-style music video inspirations.
Yes. It's very over the top. And I wonder if that's just part of... That's how they accept it. That's how they watch movies.
So I do know that the central premise that surrounds this, that it is focusing on from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. I
like how you've watched a movie, but I do know the central premise of it.
I believe it's about an apartment called 13B.
13B.
Or is it B13?
I
don't know.
From what I understand, no, they every day there is a teledrama or a teleserial.
It's a soap opera.
A soap opera, yeah.
They call it a serial.
That
just what they are.
That they all watch. Well, primarily
the women.
The women
watch
it.
And
you don't do anything during this time. I actually have known Indian families that are like, this show is on, and I'm like,
yeah, I mean that's
okay.
any culture. I think that's universal.
They're like, can you tape it?
Definitely.
And they look at you like you just pooped on the floor. Like, no, we can't tape it.
So I get that part because watching it live can be part of the fun.
Am I going too deep if I talk about a few of these other things from the start before the soap opera is a deal?
Oh, please.
There's one specific neighbor in the apartment complex. He's a blind guy with a dog. Mm-hmm. Kind of mysterious, kind of shady. He gets a lot of camera shakes when he's around. And the elevator doesn't work for Manohar for some reason.
Only Manohar.
Only Manohar.
Isn't that weird, guys? Whoa.
Can we shake our microphones and make it sound like they're shaking?
Also, his nephew takes a picture of him on his new phone.
And it does the, like, J-horror thing.
It does. He had a filter set on it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The dude just doesn't know how to turn his phone filter off, and every time he tries to take a picture of himself throughout the movie, and it keeps doing the swirly thing, I'm just like, dude, turn Snapchat off. Just stop taking Snapchat pictures.
And I think this movie really did want to invoke The Ring and stuff like that.
I definitely got a Ring vibe a lot of the time.
Yeah. But man, when it was used in The Ring, it was spooky because their faces were like smeared and blurred. But here it's just like a spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the pinch effect.
Well, then too, and this maybe gets back into what you're talking about, Michael, about the score. There's no, like, I hate to be like an asshole and use some kind of like crazy term here, but there's no like gravitas to any of the moments when these horror things happen. It'll just be like,
I think that's the perfect word to use.
Weird, awkward music, and then you just look and it's like, oh, yep, his face is twisty on the phone. And then it was like, oh, you better make sure they know it's scary. Shake the camera a little bit.
But when he's not in the apartment and takes a picture of himself, it comes out normal.
What if it wasn't actually a horror film all along, and they just had a really bad cameraman who just shook all the time? And they were like, well, fuck, we gotta figure something out. Can you write a score to fit this?
Yeah, so... Yeah, the women folk of the household are obsessed with this one show. They're going to sit down to watch it. They're turning the channel, and it stops on channel 13. Oh, was there something else you wanted to mention before we go?
No, you're
But 13, it's just like the floor they live on.
Right. I know, it's scary, isn't it?
But
it won't turn off this channel.
Yep.
But this new show comes on. Sab Karyat, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
in Hindi, yeah, and in the original language, that's the Yavarum Nalam.
Right.
Which basically translated as everyone as well is probably how we would localize it.
I'm pretty sure I watched the Hindi version. What did you guys watch?
I watched the Hindi version.
Because it had Sab Karyat.
Oh, we should talk about this real quick for a second. So we rented it on Amazon.
That's the only place you can
That's the only
rent
place
it.
you can get it, and it's only the Hindi version. I found that it was on Hulu, and they had the Hindi and they had the Telugu, I think. Neither one had subtitles on them.
Yeah, that's weird.
I was real excited. I was like, maybe Dustin just didn't get this right.
Did you try to?
I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, because I messaged you guys. And I was like, hey, don't worry about renting it. It's on Hulu. It's fine. I'm about to watch it. And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, hey, guys, yeah, you got to rent it.
After I watched the movie, though, I feel like I probably could have just watched it on Hulu, saved $2, and still have the same understanding.
There's a lot of English in this movie.
There is.
You can get like a quarter of it without speaking
I
Hindi.
feel like I probably still would have understood most of what was going on.
And actually,
about the same.
I think that's interesting too because the parts they say in English, it is very much like it's super clear English,
yeah, right.
and then it just very naturally transitions into the Hindi, and I thought that was interesting.
It was.
As someone who does not watch many Indian films,
I clearly you have not been around very many Indian people either.
well, we live in Kentucky, so
When I lived in
It's
Dayton,
not by choice. It's just,
when I lived
it's where
in
we-
Dayton and drove Uber for a while, like I had a lot of Indian passengers, and they'd be talking on the phone, and like all of a sudden I'm like, do I understand Hindi now? I have picked up the language.
I know Hindi.
So they're watching this soap opera, and immediately we notice it's kind of weird because the family in the show looks like their family.
We notice it. They don't. Yeah, it's the exact same premise.
The amount of time that
And-
motherfucker watches that show
And
and,
then-
doesn't realize that it's him is like, the fuck?
The other thing I really love is that in case somehow you didn't understand that it was them in the show, the first time they watch it, the camera pans over to show you their family photo.
Yeah, it basically reintroduces the characters we were just introduced to. And to be clear, it's like actors in this show. It's not them, but it's actors who look sort of like them. But it's like the same family members, same, genders and everything.
Same dynamics.
Same dynamics. They just moved into this new house. And even a line from one of the women from Priya or something like, oh, that's just like us. That would have gone a long way toward, okay. They realize, hey, this is kind of weird. But
instead, the
that's
camera
neat.
foces on the TV, then back on the family, then on the TV, then back on the family, and then back on the TV.
Yes.
I think Dustin's about to have a conniption.
Okay, so one of the problems is that they had not put up their pictures in their prayer room. Manohar tries to get the watchman of the building, who I guess likes the superintendent.
He's
or
the
whatever.
driller.
Which we do have to talk about the Watchmen for a second because this is before the serial stuff even starts. But the first time Manohar goes to his job and he gets into his car, they have the worst timed jump scare ever
Yeah.
of the Watchman coming up to the window to talk to him.
Right. It's not scary at all.
Ah, my God.
It's just like someone coming up to your car to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's not frightening.
And there's just a boom stinger in there, and it's not on the right beat at all.
I forgot about that.
Because I think of like Insidious or any film like I keep bringing up that, but like James Wan's like a master of doing like a good jump scare where it's like he'll build the anticipation, and then you feel the timing of like it's going to be here, and then he waits just like 1 or 2 beats to
Give
really
a little bit of redirection.
get you with it. Yeah. And this was so mistimed in this
It
film.
was.
Just I cringed just so bad when it happened.
So Manahar gets one of his guys that works for him with a big industrial drill to go to his apartment because the walls apparently are too hard. You can't nail through them.
I think one of them says they think there's like a beam that runs behind the wall or something.
through the whole wall. And Manahar makes fun of his
Did
wife
they
for saying this.
Think about just like moving the nail.
Or using those, sticky things.
Yeah,
you
like
know, I'm
command
talking about.
strips?
Command strips, thank you, yes.
I
Oh, no.
But anyway, so the guy shows up. He's going to drill into the walls. But it's just kind of silly. One of the women hears him cry out or something, and they run in there, and he's on the floor. I guess he's being shocked, is what we find out happens.
I don't know.
It didn't really look like it.
No, it did not.
Of course, then again, I don't really know what it looks like for someone to get shocked. I mean, it would have been cool if there was like electrical bolts going up and down, and like the Emperor was shocking them or something.
You know, I would not have put it past this movie at all.
I would have enjoyed that. I think this needed a bit more cheese to make it.
Oh,
tastier.
kind of go the other way with it, maybe?
Yeah. Instead of taking itself so seriously, you just lean into the cheese. So anyway, this dude's saying, "Oh, there's like industrial power in here. It shocked me," and he's obviously rattled, so he has to leave. So that's another spooky thing that happens.
But didn't this mirror something that happened on the telenovela too?
Maybe.
I know it's not a telenovela, but I can't not call it that.
It's
do you,
basically
man.
it's a soap opera. Okay. So anyway,
Oh, we also meet a character that doesn't become relevant for like an hour or more. But there's this doctor on TV that the mom of the family really likes.
yes,
I think in our version it's Dr. Balu. Isn't that right?
I think Sheend is what we know him as now.
Sheend? Okay.
Or Shinde. I'm not
He's
sure how
got
to
a different
pronounce
name in both versions of the film.
it. Yes,
So
it's Dr. Shinde at first.
Yep.
Yes, and he's into the paranormal and all that stuff. There's like some interview on TV with him, but apparently he helped operate it on his mom or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like a family doctor.
No, it's fucking.
He's a famed doctor,
He's
and
a family
he's,
doctor who's into fucking ghosts.
for some reason is into ghosts.
Not fucking ghosts, but he's into ghosts. Maybe he fucks them. I don't know.
Who knows?
So stuff happens in this show that starts to happen in real life.
Yeah, and Manahar, he's there for some reason. I forget why, like during the day. And he's kind of noticing this program they're watching. And he's like, hey, this is kind of just like us.
And his mom's like, "Oh yeah, it's like this new program. It's got like specters in it too." And like, she's excited because it's like new and paranormal-y
Yeah.
and stuff.
So, like, the milk's been curdling on the show and stuff
Just
like
like
that.
us.
And there's this great shot of the character on the show. He's like thinking about everything that's happened, and it just keeps cutting back to him turning his head like, wow, this is all very strange. And it cuts back to Manahar and back and forth. And... Okay.
Oh god damn it!
So then he's seeing things in this, like the brother in the show gets a raise, like a big raise. It's a promotion. And then it
now
happens to his brother.
And
in
they're
real
gonna
life.
now be able to pay off their flat quicker.
Yes. Yes.
The sister graduates. That's one of the things.
Sister graduates. Yep.
With the 69.75%.
Hey. So then these things really happen, and he's like, "Holy shit! You know, this is just like what's going on here." I do like the scene where he comes home. Manahar comes home with gifts for everybody, and he has his wife a cookbook,
Yeah.
and they all kind of make fun of her cooking or whatever. But then it turns out it was the Kama Sutra,
Yeah.
so they're looking at it later and everything. And this was the best part. So to get around the what do you call them? I guess the decency laws or whatever, the ratings board. To show that they're having sex, we get a music video.
Not of them having sex.
Not of them having sex. They're like frolicking on the beach, and there's a song and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's your substitute for sex.
But it fades. Like, you definitely know what they're about to do, and they just, like, it just goes into this music video,
Yeah.
and you're like, the fuck?
Yeah.
So Tiffany was passively watching this one with me, and she had gotten up because she was already like, fuck this movie. And she left when they were kind of starting to talk in the bed together.
I like those scenes. They have good chemistry.
They do. They really do. And then she comes back during the music video, and she's like, did you stop watching the film, or what's going on right now? I was like, no.
It's music video time.
Yeah.
Yeah, sit back.
And unlike
You're like, no, they're having sex, obviously.
unlike Toon Bad, where the song inserts really like help to forward the narrative and like give you context.
It wasn't obtrusive.
This was just a complete. You could just wipe this out, and it wouldn't make a difference.
We also all watched this at different times and had a tiny bit of commentary. We try not to do this and save everything for the podcast, but we had a little bit of commentary going on. And Jason, when this scene happened, Jason was like, "What? A music video substitute for a sex scene?" And Dustin's only response is, "Buckle up." And Jason's like, "Uh-oh." You two had finished it.
Yeah.
And so I knew that you all thought it was a giant pile of shit. And so then it was left to me today to watch it knowing how bad you all think it is. Jesus Christ.
I try to keep my cards close before we come to the table to record, but
Sometimes you can't contain them.
It was a real hard 2.5 hours today.
You're like the guy who does his homework 10 minutes before class.
Always.
we get to a big point of this whole like prophetic TV show thing. His wife gets pregnant and has a miscarriage, which does happen.
Yes.
Well, in the scene where he comes, I really do like I thought it was really interesting the way that him announcing to everyone that he was going to be a father was portrayed. Everyone was super excited for him, and they're like, take the day off, man. Like, tell your wife we're real happy for her. And it's almost like that's a cultural thing that I wish happened here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Instead, here it's like, oh, well,
Get back to work.
Did you mean
Yeah.
to be pregnant?
Well, you got to get this done.
Because you still need to go to work.
Yeah.
But he comes home with they keep telling him, bring home sweets. But yeah, that's the kind of musical number it needed. Because there's like a bit of a musical montage there.
Yeah. That one's much better handled.
But it's also like everything is well here. That's kind of showing that everything is going well, and maybe it's not such a bad omen that the milk curdled and everything's gonna be
did you
fine.
guys realize that what happens in the show was happening in the film?
Well, Manahar is starting to cotton on to that.
Is he?
Yeah,
Is he though?
this is when he starts to cotton on to it.
Because
big
when
time.
he's sitting there watching the TV for like 30 fucking minutes, and it actually is 30 minutes of the movie that he's watching the TV, and it seems to be dumbfounded that the things are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Priya has an accident in the kitchen. She's shocked or something.
She's
right?
exploded.
Yeah, that's what there is kind of this big explosion. She slides across the room.
Someone needs to look into the wiring of this building.
Yeah, seriously.
For
She
real.
goes in to check the tea or something, and it gets exploded.
I didn't know Trump had property in India.
He probably does.
So yeah, they race her to the hospital and all this stuff. And, they don't know if she's going to make it. But they've been there for like 24 hours. So he's like, oh shit, well I'm going to... he goes to the lobby of the television. I put it on this show because the show is foretelling everything that happens to us. But the TV doesn't work.
That's the only way to know.
Right. So he starts running, and the show's not on anywhere else. He runs home. That's the only place the show is playing, on Channel 13 at his house. Mm-hmm. He looks at this newspaper for the TV guide thing. Nothing.
Well, yeah.
Which is something we realized half an hour ago.
But Priya is saved by a said aforementioned doctor from like forever ago in the film.
Yes, from the video, the paranormal dude.
Yep.
So he decides to do a little detective work here.
But unfortunately, the baby does not survive.
Correct. So Manahar goes to the production offices of the, serial. But he's like, I want to buy ad time. He was like, oh, come right in.
It's the worst security guard ever. He asks him what he does, and he's
I'm
like,
Joe Business. I'm here to buy ad time.
I'm a businessman. And he's like, oh, come on in.
Businessman.
Businessman.
Although, honestly, there could be some caste things going on here, too.
Probably, yeah.
So.
They definitely are of a higher caste because they live in a really nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And that's still very much a thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so he goes into the offices. He's going to go right to where they're producing the thing, and it's like a game show or a variety show or something.
Yeah.
It's not even the drama they've been watching.
The drama.
The drama. It's not their stories. So it's like, what?
Camera shake.
Camera shake. Something weird's happened. Shake the camera. Okay.
Wake him up. He fell asleep again.
Okay. Here's things that get really confusing. Because, so he goes back to his house, and he's talking with the blind neighbor again, and his dog starts digging around in the playground.
Isn't his dog's name Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the most American dog name.
I guess.
I love it.
But he was a good dog, so.
He was a good dog. But he's digging out in front of this big jungle gym bee thing.
Yeah, the B
Not
specifically.
an animal bee, but the letter B.
The letter B.
Yeah.
In a language that does not use the Cyrillian alphabet.
Well, I mean, obviously, the whole English thing, maybe.
It's a stretch.
It's an accident. It looks like a bee. It looks like something else completely different.
It was boobs. They got turned on their side.
Boobs.
Don't flip them over. You have to put in a music video.
So stuff happens. The dog was digging.
Dog's digging, and he's like, oh, whatever. Let's see. Oh, he asks his wife about the cereal, and she teases him about getting into it and stuff like that. And she says that the neighbor's dog in the show was digging, but they stopped before it showed what he found.
My favorite is she's trying to tell the story, and she's like, he's digging and digging and digging, and he like shakes her.
Like, Tommy! Jesus Christ, you're really into the show! So the Manahar wakes up at night, and it's raining, and he goes out, and he starts digging where the dog was digging, and he finds like this diary or something with pictures in it.
And it's the family from the show.
Right.
It turns out it was actually documents Trump took from the White House. He's buried them in India. Because you know what? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the fucking plot of this movie.
That would actually be kind of interesting.
Okay.
It'd be better what it is, yeah.
So then a bunch of shit happens. He gets this friend of his who's a cop.
And it suddenly just becomes like a different movie at this point. Like, the
It
family
does.
is barely in it now.
Right.
It felt to be like they were trying to do the Omen thing, right? Like in the Omen at the start, you're just only at their home. It's all about the kid.
Yeah.
They're figuring out how things are weird.
Then they start researching.
And then he tries to figure it out, and he kind of goes on this whole like side adventure where he's traveling around to different places.
Hanging out with David Warner.
Hanging out with David Warner, tracking down the plot, getting the awesome screen glass kill.
Yeah.
And it
What's
just,
the Omen?
hey, yeah. But yeah, that little chunk is like almost its own little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow like that is still threaded through into what the Omen is.
Right, it's coherent.
Whereas in here, this is like they just jump tracks to another film.
Yes.
I actually hit pause, and I saw that there was still an hour and a half left of the movie, and I was like, the fuck is left to do here?
Yeah. So then we get them rifling through newspapers and stuff. Whole research scene and all that.
Okay, so this is actually where the funny thing happened. The anecdote that I was going to tell you about. At this point, I was already really pissed off at this movie because it had been going on so long, and now it's like a whole new movie. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the TV turns off, and my 15-month-old son just grabbed the remote and fucking turned it off. He was like, and I just looked at him, and he is just like blank face looking at me holding the remote like, I'm sorry, I couldn't fucking do this anymore.
It's like, I'm a fucking baby, and that's annoying as shit.
I was like, I know, buddy. We have to finish it, though. It's for the podcast.
It's just like, why are you punishing me?
He's just, God, I wish I had a picture of him standing there with the remote just staring at me like,
That's hilarious.
I don't want to watch this anymore.
Your kid who's not even yet 2 has better taste.
Than you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not hard.
That's true. That's true.
So we learned that, yes, the family in the show was a real family that existed, and their house address is the same as where the apartment is now.
Camera shake!
It was a different building at the time.
Yeah.
It was like
Camera
this
shake!
It was a big villa or something.
And they were butchered back in 1977.
Mm-hmm. There's something about their daughter. She was a newscaster. Some guy had like a crush on her, wanted to marry her. There's a whole bunch of shit that goes on here that really doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
And I really don't even want to go over
Her
it.
name's Chitra, And this is where the name thing, I think... Shinde is the fan who later becomes the doctor. And he's obsessed with her.
That's his brother.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's this dude...
I don't know.
The family from 77 had a daughter who was a newscaster, right? Mm-hmm. They buy this TV, and it's a big deal because not many people had TVs, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the whole neighborhood's out there. To watch her on it. And that's when we learned that... And they saw this dude's picture in the photo, but they have a brother?
Oh, is this the ableism?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Well, you have something to say about that.
Oh, yeah, because when it happened, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Dude is playing full mentally handicapped guy, and he's obviously not mentally handicapped, and his version of it is to twist his mouth to the side as far as possible and fucking drool.
Yeah.
That is...
It's not subtle, like the rest of this movie.
That is... But when I saw it, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I will give it a little break. It was a film from 2009. We have learned a lot in the time since then.
I don't know. I still think in 2009... Well, granted, this is the country that will censor sex scenes, but also has like a horribly huge rampant problem with rape and sexual assault in their actual economy and lifestyle. But they're like, no, we can't show sex on TV. Instead, you just need to go rape people in the streets. That's how we fix it.
That's why Japan is so peaceful.
Yeah. They're like, you can show whatever you want.
So they invite like the whole neighborhood to come watch TV, and the dude flips out and smashes shit. And okay, so you're right. There was this dude who was obsessed with the daughter, but she didn't want to marry him, and they kick his ass and tell him to go home.
He threatens them though, right? He says like, if I can't marry her, I'm just going to kill everyone.
Right. Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
And then he commits suicide.
Yeah. We find this out later. He commits suicide, and he's the brother of Dr. Seend, whose real name is what, Bula?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
So it was actually the doctor.
Out at this
it was actually the doctor who killed that family because he blamed them for his brother's suicide.
But he put it on the mentally handicapped
Yes,
guy.
he framed him.
And then there's some stuff. The police officer that was investigating the case, he commits suicide in that house too.
Well, he was actually murdered, but yeah.
But at first,
They thought it was suicide, yeah.
I was vaguely trying to chain the plot.
Sorry.
Along.
I thought we gave up on that.
No, Dustin's still holding out hope for some bit of...
So they go find the brother.
Yes, in a mental asylum.
who now has spray-painted white hair.
Yeah.
Because he's older.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Did you know? Did you know he was older because he had spray
I
painted
did,
hair?
yeah.
Did you know that they're also the family that's in the show the same way?
I did.
Okay.
They shook the camera enough to let me know.
But they learned that he goes crazy after he sees a certain TV show in the asylum, right? Is that a thing that happens? Or did I dream that?
There's this whole thing where it turns out that a lot of what we've been seeing was a dream by Manohar. And we have no idea what was real and what wasn't. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Sure.
I'm not sure the camera shook enough to convey that
so
to me.
There's a point where Manohar, oh my god, after researching one night, he has a dream that the murderer is climbing the stairs to get to his family. Remember?
Right? Yeah.
And he starts
yeah.
climbing up after them because the elevator doesn't work.
Yeah.
But he keeps winding up on the second floor.
Yeah.
Like no matter how many stairs he goes up, it's always on the second floor.
Which in any other film would be this awesome segment.
Yeah.
And yet here they fumble it like they fumble every other thing.
Well, Baba had already done it back in, 63 or something like that. Kill Baby Kill. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. Love it.
I'm not entirely sure the people who made this movie had seen that one.
I know. I'm just trying to think of better movies.
So at least Dustin has something good to write up in the notes.
Yeah.
Let's just start saying movies we like that are good.
I mean, that's why I brought up The Omen and Insidious. So
Nice.
What about that movie, Psycho?
So he wakes up from this dream. He wakes up from that dream and... Okay, so this is directly from like the Wikipedia thing. He realizes that the events that took place from digging up the diary of photographs to the climbing of the stairs were happening in a dream. So like a quarter of the movie was a dream?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't grok this either, but I mean apparently that's the thing.
Or is it all true and he just dreamed it?
I'm not really sure that it matters.
So anyway, he gets up and he sees on the TV they're showing the killer in the Yavarum Nalam. Well, I guess actually in this one it was the different title, but anyway, of the serial. And this is also a place where it really. So you see like this figure in black walking with a bloody hammer, and it starts panning up to his face, and then the actor turns around, and it's Manahar.
Yeah.
And it keeps showing him turning around. And this big musical stinger, this boom, 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 boom. Yeah, no shit. It's just, oh man. So then he like freaks out thinking, oh, I'm going to kill my family.
And this is where you think there would be like something, like a big action moment or something would happen here. Like this is the go time, right?
Yeah.
And instead we get this slow progression of what happens, where he goes to the doctor and he has him book tickets to send the family somewhere else, but not tell them why, so that they'll be safe.
Yeah, so he won't be able to kill them. And he'll stay at the doctor's while he does this until they leave. Now, there was a point earlier that kindled some interest in this movie for me.
Where was it? Because I missed it.
He and his cop partner are talking about... Because there's also a scene in the movie where someone's stove explodes. You know,
Well, that was supposed to... That scene actually made me laugh. It was supposed to... What they thought was going to be his cop partner's wife.
right.
And when his cop partner realizes that the same things are happening, like now he's in the drama.
Yeah.
And
He's very concerned about himself.
Yeah.
and the dude's like, well, you're in it with me now. And the dude's like, I just fucking got here.
yeah.
Which shows that character is Shiva, and he's played by Ravi Babu. Quite liked him.
Yeah, he was good.
He was a great actor.
Again, the cast is great.
Yeah.
But there's that one line where, because Shiva's telling him, just move out. And he's like, no, I can't, because that show only airs in my house. And if I'm not there to watch it, I won't know what to avoid. That is the movie this should have fucking been. It should have been about him becoming obsessed with this show and losing his job because he's there to watch it all day. And he's so concerned about, following the patterns of the show and keeping everyone safe that he winds up losing everybody because he's obsessing over the show where they should have just left to begin with.
That's actually a good plot, Jason. And
That's
this
the
movie
fucking
can't
movie.
handle that.
Yeah, I can drive to that. Yeah.
That should have been a fucking movie.
That's
Normally-
very Twilight Zone-y.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there are Twilight Zone plots about this kind of
Sure.
thing where you get like a prophetic vision of the future.
And normally I don't like to bitch about what a movie didn't do, but when it brings it up, when your movie brings up a much more interesting idea and it doesn't follow through on it, it's fair to criticize it for not going that route.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, you were saying he's at the doctor's house.
Uh-huh.
The doctor goes to the families with the tickets to fly away in the morning. She invites him in because she's not rude.
The television comes on.
Television just comes on, and it's the girl from 77,
Chitra,
doing her newscast thing. But then she addresses the doctor and says, you killed us and all this stuff.
And he killed all of them, even the police officer.
Yeah. So
the
he's
police officer-
freaking out
yeah.
because there's this ghost in the TV talking to him, and he smashes it. And the family comes in and are like, "What the hell are you doing?" So he turns around.
You should have written the script for this. What the hell are you doing?
So yeah, he looks at them, and all their faces morph into the original family. Every one of them. This has to happen to every one of them.
'Cause he's
to
crazy.
drive home the point that he thinks this is the old family. We have to see it 7 fucking times.
Well, it's because they figured out how to do that CG effect.
the whole morphing
Yeah.
thing.
And they were like, ooh, we should do it on all of them.
We saw Willow. We can do this.
But Manahar saves the day.
He does by smashing a hammer into the doctor's face off screen. Another complaint I have. There's no fucking gore in this movie. Man, we should not have started with Tumbad. That was too high a bar.
I mean, maybe I'm just not willing to try to fail, but I go for...
I take the risk of failing.
I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to pick one that's good.
I failed so much in my life, I'm not scared of doing it.
You
movie pick.
you got 10 more years of failure on you than I do.
Listen, though, we're not done. This film has a stinger.
It does. Tell us about it.
So we pick back up with the family. Everything's normal. They got a new dog, right?
They took Harry.
Yeah. They took Harry in. They go through the same stuff. The milk's good now. It's not curdling. Everything's happy.
They also have their prayer room set up there.
It's like a shrine now. They say.
Finally. They're also...
And the elevator works, right?
The elevator works, but main dude is also now wearing... I don't care enough to remember his name.
Manahar.
It just makes me think of Man of War, and I just want to go listen to Man of War now. But Manahar is actually, if you notice, is now wearing the traditional...
Oh, yeah.
They were praying, so I think they do the whole...
Yeah, but like he's wearing it more now. Like they've actually embraced their religion now.
Sure.
And so we did this episode just to say that if you all would just accept our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, all of this would be...
I don't think it's about Jesus.
I don't think it's about that.
Wait, it's not?
I wish they were worshiping Hastar. That would have been a lot more interesting.
What if they just shout at the doctor, sleep? Hastar will come for you.
Or actually, Sheetar would also fit.
Cheetar.
So yeah, our final little thing. Manahar goes to leave. He gets in the elevator. He gets a phone call. And it's from the doctor, right? Yep.
His dialogue's my favorite.
Go on, Michael.
Surprised it's me?
Not really.
Camera shake.
Camera shake, yeah.
Yeah, and he says basically that that family haunts 13B because of the murders, but now he is going to haunt the phone.
I think the phone's a lot easier to get rid of in the house. Fuck this. Let's throw it away.
Yeah. Wait, come back.
No. I'm going to use this phone.
I went all in on this one phone. I should have. Damn it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's the movie.
So it threatens us with a sequel.
It threatens a sequel or a spinoff or I don't know what. Clearly,
shit! It's gonna be 13B. Fear has a new number. Dude's like, I can't.
New phone. Who dis?
He's like, I can't get rid of this phone. I still have payments on it.
They'll charge me for it.
Because every month, if I just make my payment, they take off the phone.
I can't figure out how to transfer all my pictures.
It's a movie about your mom.
We didn't talk about what genre this film is, probably because none of us cared to. IMDb tags it as drama, horror, mystery.
Whatever.
I don't really know that there's that much mystery to it.
I would say thriller, if anything.
Thriller, yeah. I was more leaning toward a thriller.
Maybe like, paranormal thriller.
I have some facts if you guys want.
Please.
This was like on a lot of things, and I looked it up too because I was curious. That TV that they watch, it actually has like a specific make and model. Mm-hmm. It's an Oneida, and the model is Poison.
That's the name of the model?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow, cool.
I mean, it's an iconic part of the film, so I thought that was interesting.
The movie did open with like them assembling all the TVs.
Yeah, I actually thought that opening was pretty cool. It was very atmospheric, and I wanted to talk about it, and I'm glad you brought it up, because it reminded me of, is it the second Child's Play, where it's like the good guy doll factory, and you see the dolls being built slowly and meticulously, and it's very like good and atmospheric and disturbing.
Yeah.
And that actually gave me a lot of hope for this film.
Me too.
That they quickly wasted.
Yeah. They pissed that away. It also reminded me of the beginning of Christine.
Yeah.
All the cars being assembled and stuff. But there's just one evil one.
So as we know, the apartment was the central location of the film for a lot of the shots, and they made a temporary shooting floor from scratch, and actually like built this apartment to shoot on.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Nice set. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about film ratings because I dug all this up.
Okay.
Actually, to talk about stuff that wasn't about the film, but it'll be interesting.
It pertains to it.
So the Tamil version got a UA rating, U/A, and the Hindi version got an A rating. And so these are the ratings of the Central Board of Film Certification. And much like what we have over here, what's in England, other places, it's a statutory film certification body of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting for the Government of India. And they generally regulate the public exhibition of films under the provisions of their I'm dead, you guys. Okay. Cinematograph
You gonna
Act.
hop my fucking phone?
Cinematograph Act of 1952. And that outlines various certification rules and processes for a commercial film to be shown in a public venue. And so generally films can be screened in cinemas and on TV only after they've been certified through the board and had any edits made. We know all of that, but I want to get into like what their actual ratings are. So they have 4 primary certifications. Originally there were only 2, and that was U for unrestricted public access. Anyone can watch it.
Like a G.
Like a G. And they had A, which was restricted to adult audiences only.
Okay, a lot of gray area.
So yeah, it's everyone or only adults. Boom, boom. That's like such a huge divide compared to what we're used to. In June of 1983, they added 2 more restrictions. U/A, which is unrestricted public exhibition, but if you're a child under 12, you need parental guidance.
So like an R, pretty much. No one under 17.
It's more like a PG-13.
I would say that's more like PG-13.
Yeah. That's about the same time we got a PG-13 here, like 84, 85.
Mm-hmm. And they added S, which is restricted to specialized audiences. So these are films where like you have to be a certain type of person to be certified to watch it. And some of the examples they gave was something like a doctor or a scientist. And it would be like watching a video perhaps about like an autopsy or something like that.
So in case the local art house is screening the act of seeing when the one owns eyes, the doctor can go see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can refuse to certify a film, which then that obviously restricts the kind of releases that there can be. And then they have some certifications for home video, VU, VUA, and VA, which is the same 3, but just certified for home video release.
Okay.
And I have a little list of reasons they can refuse to certify a movie as well.
Lay it on us.
So, antisocial activities such as violence may not be glorified. Criminal acts may not be depicted and glorified. And some various things that can be considered prohibitive. The involvement of children into violent acts or abuse or ridicule of the physically or mentally handicapped. Apparently they didn't really
I guess they didn't
tag
care
that on this
about
one.
That one.
And these may have like changed in how strict they were over the years. Unnecessary depictions of cruelty to animals, very gratuitous violence, cruelty, or horror. Egregious scenes of alcohol consumption, drug addiction, or smoking. Scenes of extreme vulgarity, obscenity, depravity, particularly scenes degrading women, including sexual violence. No denigration by race, religion, or other social groups. No promotion of sectarian, obscurantist, anti-scientific, and anti-national attitudes. And relations with foreign countries should not be affected by the premise and focus of the film.
Okay.
So, some fun information for the day to wash down.
What was this rated?
This was UA for the Tamil version, and the Hindi version got an A.
Okay.
I was trying to look and see what Tumbad got, but all I see is not rated.
I think Toombot is a big exception. I think that's like a pretty bold movie.
I mean, Dustin was reading over things like violence towards children, and I was like, they beat the shit out of that kid.
They're constantly getting slapped. Yeah, every kid's getting slapped. The one falls off the tree.
And then the last little note, just to throw it out there, a sequel was planned, and that stinger, I guess, was the thing.
Fear has a new number.
It became dropped for unknown reasons, and we don't know why.
I know why.
I mean, I know why, but...
Actually, so if you go on to IMDb for this fucking movie, have you guys done it?
Well, I was going to talk about this now, maybe before we give our final thoughts. I felt bad coming in to do this one, because I was like, I really don't have much good to say besides the actors are nice.
You don't have to say anything good, because every other fucking person on IMDb is like, this is the greatest Indian horror film ever made. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, the rest of them have to be awful.
Dude, I'm serious. There also really could be like some cultural barrier.
Well, no. Here's the punchline to this. So, I don't often like deep dive on other reviews people have given. Sometimes if it's funny on Letterboxd, I'll mention it. But I really wanted to know like what did people think about this movie when it came out at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was able to track down some stuff where people were talking from like reviews from like film critics in India at the time, talking about them and stuff. And really, a lot of them were on the like 2 out of 5 star range. And they praised like certain aspects, but there was a lot of like, it's kind of dull, it's too long. Really, a lot of the same things that we've identified across this episode. So I really think maybe we're not like super hating on this and don't get it so much. I mean, if you liked it, you liked it, and that's your thing.
But it was very successful from an audience point of view. I mean,
yes.
It made some money.
This is one where if it did the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing, the critic score and the audience score would be out of whack. And there would be accusations of shenanigans.
Right.
So when I looked it up on Google, one of the, pre-recommended search questions is 13B a good film? And it came up with this analysis from IMDb that I laughed so hard at. It says, in short, 13B can be rated as a good attempt by its team, but it could have been much better with a lot of editing and without the unnecessary songs. It says, fans of thriller horror movies should feel about 65 to 75% satisfaction after watching this movie.
Who came up with that percentage?
I don't know, but I certainly did not feel 65%
That's wishful
satisfaction.
thinking.
Okay, here's the other thing. This movie is 2.5 hours long. I think it took me 4 hours to watch this. And I'm going to say this on the show. I already told you guys because it was crazy. I don't generally fall asleep during movies. Like, sometimes I'll push and it'll be like midnight and I'm like, I'm going to throw something on. And I do just conk out, This was like 7 p.m. I had gotten in from work. I sat down with dinner. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this because it's kind of long, so I want to get through it. And I ate while I was watching the early part, so I was in good on that. And I kid you not, I fell asleep during this film 3 different times and had to wake up and backtrack to where I could remember to rewatch what I missed so that I could even begin to try to talk about this movie for the episode.
I think it was a defense mechanism in your brain.
My son tried to save me from it.
Yeah, I know.
It didn't help.
Do you guys have anything else about this one?
I think we've touched on everything. I don't have any other trivia or anything for it, no.
Let's get into our final
Let's
thoughts.
do it.
I'll go.
Go on, Michael.
I'm giving this one a 1. That's the lowest rating we've ever had.
Is it?
Is it?
I think so.
Didn't Dustin give Brimstone a 1 or something? Or a -3 or something?
His text when he said, it can't be worse than Brimstone. And he's like, just ... line face. Like,
How do you feel about Brimstone now, Dustin?
So, I did give Brimstone a 1. Are you done talking about the movie?
that's all I got.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 1.
So,
I really don't want to say anything else.
So I had to think about this in the weight of the films we've covered a little bit. And I thought, it didn't offend me the same way that Brimstone did. But I also think it's good that Brimstone made me feel that way because movies can be challenging. And though it was a challenge to my sensibilities, even though I didn't like Brimstone, I kind of respect it for that.
You didn't fall asleep.
And I didn't fall asleep. And it was, if nothing else, like it had good actors and good acting and portrayals.
It was competently made. This film does have good acting and good actors. And I would watch any of them in any other film and be totally happy with their performances. But this film, 13B, Fear Has a New
Address, commits my worst movie sin to me for my personal taste that can exist, which is to be boring. I think no matter how bad your film is, how low budget it is, it doesn't matter if you have $5 billion in the film or if you have $5 in the film. If your film is boring to me, it is just dead completely. And it is worthless, and I do not care. And I'm giving this one a 0.5 star.
Oh!
I didn't know that was an option.
Wow.
I checked in Letterboxd before I came on that one.
Okay.
Is there a no-star option?
No.
Okay. So this is the lowest.
Yes, this is the
Would
lowest
give
we can go.
0 stars if I could.
I'll save that one for something else because you never know.
Brimstone 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
The brimstoning.
He's actually a demon.
Obviously.
The Reverend's back.
With a new number. 13B.
B13.
You sank my battleship. Yeah, this movie is not good. Yeah, I didn't like it. It's such a missed opportunity because I like the premise, and it had such potential. It really does because it has a great cast. the basic idea is solid. It's a good idea.
You know, it's almost like the story of how Toonbat existed. If you tell someone the premise of this film, they're like, oh, that sounds great. And then they're going to go watch it and be like, what the fuck?
Right. But yeah, it's just, I'll give it a 1.5. Just because I really like the cast.
Just because it's your movie.
No. I like the concept. I like the cast.
You know what's almost more egregious is this movie is so bad that somebody couldn't even take the premise and make a good one, because this one would have like the shit stain of this movie all over that one.
Yeah, it's just I don't get the love it gets. I don't understand it.
But it is what it is, and if you love it, you
totally,
do you, man.
yeah.
Champion it. There's plenty of films that other people would say are a half star that I love. Mm-hmm. You know, it is what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't.
So we don't mean to dog on anyone who does like it.
And if you do like it and you're listening, write to us and actually tell us like what appealed to you about it, because I think that would be interesting to have other perspectives. Usually we all kind of land a little different, so you can get some more like balanced take between us. But it seems like this time we're kind of all in alignment.
Yeah.
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 Well, okay. So we got one more movie in our
do.
Indian block.
And I struggled with this one because, of course, my true pick would have been Toonbad if you just threw me in there.
You're welcome.
So it is what it is. I did a lot of research.
The benefits of going first.
There's 2 or 3 that I was interested in, but they were also horror films. And I feel like sometimes when I'm the last guy, I become the one whose task it is to remind people that we're not just a horror podcast. So I made my pick with that in mind. Mm-hmm. So we are going to be checking out from 2020.
You're doing RRR?
No.
Damn it.
A Hindi language black comedy crime film titled Ludo, after the board game.
The fuck?
Ludo.
Yes. Ludo, you would know it here in America as Sorry or Trouble. The classic board game where there are several colors that compete against one another, racing around the board to complete their thing and get back to the little safe zone.
Pop-O-Matic. Pops the dice for you.
This film is a bit of an anthology film, but not quite from the premise. There's several different characters, and their lives all kind of intersect and come into conflict
So it's Tarantino-esque.
regarding various criminal activities. And like the board game Ludo, which has origins in India, which we'll talk about too next episode, each color, each side is pitted against one another.
Kind of like Squid Game, right?
No. Not at all.
I just wanted to see if his head would actually explode when I just said it.
And it's streaming on Netflix, so it's very accessible.
Oh, shit, yeah.
It's out there. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
This one's not going to cost me $2.
It's not going to cost you. It is a blind pick from me. I watched the trailer. I think it'll play, but you're not going to be any money invested on this one if it bombs. So
No more than you already are.
You don't have to clarify that, Jason.
You know they're raising their prices again?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So is Disney Plus, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Although you can keep your current one, they just have to watch commercials.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Okay.
Tune in next episode where we just bitch some more.
That was us ranting about
Want
it.
to hear us bitch? Let's just bitch.
no.
Usually we're not that negative, but this one just sort of...
We were negative, but I honestly had more fun talking about the movie with you guys than I did watching it.
Yeah.
So at
And
least
two,
there's that.
if you think in the bigger picture, the last I've lost count of how many films we've been positive about every single one of them pretty much
It's about time for a
for
turd.
a while.
Sure,
so.
every now and then you're going to get a turd.
All right. Yeah, it was not fun watching this movie, but it was fun talking about this movie.
And we hope you had fun listening.
So again, like Dustin said, if you happen to really like this movie, please send us a comment on whatever your favorite social is, because we're on all of them. Send us a comment. Tell us why we're wrong, and tell us it's okay to be wrong.
Because it is.
Yeah, and defend the movie if you want, or if you really don't like it that much, you can be like, hey, I kind of like it, but I'm not going to defend it, which is how I am about a lot of movies that I like. But I think by the time this episode airs, we should have an article up on our website.
Yes, finally.
All right.
Yeah. So yours truly is.
We've had a busy year, so we've been slow going on some of our side projects that aren't just the core episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there will at least be one article up on there on genreexposure.com. So hop over there, check it out. Minimal ads, I think. I don't know.
I don't think we have any ads right
Sweet.
now.
Yeah, free.
So no boner pill
No.
windows are going to open up?
No, they will not increase your manliness.
Certainly won't if we're doing anything to it. Oh. Okay.
But you know what? Check out Raycons, man. How about those? And remember to hit the like button and smash subscribe.
Have you guys heard about those shoes on TikTok? Those Kizik shoes? Do you guys get those ads?
I don't know that one, no.
Is this a bit or are you being
No,
serious?
no.
Okay.
It is a bit. That's the... What ads do you... I mean, they're all preference ads, right?
Boner pills, already told you.
I get the Bones coffee one all the time.
I judiciously use ad block to never have
I
ads.
don't even pay attention to ads. They don't work on me.
Oh. I'm very susceptible when I get sucked in. Okay. Well, send us a comment about whatever you want. Recommend a movie to us. We've still got a list going.
We need more. Always more.
Yeah, more. But until next time, you guys have been listening to Genre Exposure.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.